Welcome to episode 271 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here as always. And this week we've got a good one because we've got Mike Araiza and Jeff Sandoval returning to the podcast.
Yeah.
When I'm down and feeling low.
Back on the show.
That's right.
Always a good time. First, though, episode 271. That's getting close to 300.
Yeah,
we better tell Severmind to get ready.
Yeah, that's right. But that's still, 29 episodes?
Right.
We got another one this week, so say 28 episodes. That's about, still 6 months from now, probably.
Is it? I don't know.
Depending on if we do 2 a week or not, 5 to 6 months.
I tried to do the math, and I was thinking like 8 days, so I don't know. I got fucked up.
Well, yeah, let's start putting out 2 a day for the next week.
Right on. Okay.
We actually have enough that we could probably do that for a few days. But...
Yeah, no shit. But today is Healing the Fray, and I didn't mean to rhyme, but hey, it felt like it was time.
There you go. Well, before we get into this talk with Healing the Fray and play some music for you, we need to let you know that we're sponsored by Sunset Tattoo, Med Farm, and DEB Concerts. Sunset Tattoo is located right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma at 3146 East 15th Street. They've got over 25 years of experience. So that lets you know right there that they know what they're doing. Get on their Facebook, Sunset Tattoo Tulsa, or their Instagram as well. And you can see a ton of pictures, photos, work that they've done. So you know what you're in for, which is some great stuff. They are state licensed. They are mother approved, and their tattoos are done good and proper. So if you give them a call, shoot them an email or a message on Facebook, whatever you want to do to get a hold of them, set up a time, an appointment to get in there and talk to them about what work you need done. They'll get it done for you. So give them a call and let them know that Thunder Underground sent you. Also, Med Farm is a dispensary located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma at 24683 East Highway 51. They've got a huge selection that you can see on leafly.com. Follow them on Facebook at MedFarm, PHARM. They're always running specials. One of the specials that's always running is if you mention Thunder Underground, they'll give you 10% off your first order. You can also follow them on Instagram at MedFarmOK. Their website is medfarmok.com. And above all that, their slogan is Cannabis with a Cause, because 30% of their proceeds is going to build no-kill animal shelters, which is very cool. They've already got one that's getting close to being done, so we'll let you know when that happens. And on top of all that, you can text your order, you can call in your order, and you can run right through their drive-thru. You never have to get out of your vehicle. So get into Med Farm and let them know that we sent you. And finally, DEB Concerts, promoter right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that keeps bringing a lot of great stuff to the IDL Ballroom and the BOK Center. Recently announced as the Poison show at the BOK Center has been postponed. They just announced the stadium tour dates for 2021 last week. So I'm sure that's when that postponement will be rescheduled for. So we're going to look out for that. Poison, Tom Kiefer, and Sebastian Bach. But in the meantime, August 15th, Dead Metal Society will be at the IDL Ballroom. And Rocket Science will be opening that show. So that'll be a good double bills from a couple great Tulsa bands. And then looking forward to October 23rd, LA Guns will make their return to the IDL Ballroom. Last time they were at the IDL Ballroom with Junkyard about 1.5 years ago. We had them on the podcast, and that was great.
That was awesome. Talk about good dudes.
And we're talking about the real LA Guns, not the fake Stephen Riley LA Guns.
Right. We're talking about the real shit. Tracy Guns, Phil Lewis.
Yeah.
Telling you what.
So yeah, that'll be one to look forward to.
That Tracy Guns, what a guy. He was a nice motherfucker, and he could hang with black metal.
That's right. So yeah, check that episode out if you haven't. But of course, follow DEB Concerts on Facebook, and their website, debconcerts.com, has all the info for ticket info on those shows. And anything else that's coming up, we'll of course let you know as soon as we know. So huge thank you to DEB Concerts. All right, let's play some music before we start talking, I guess, right?
Right.
We're going to play a new song from a new band. Actually, this song came out, we found out this in an interview we did recently, but the song came out about 1 year ago, and then they re-released it about a month or two ago because the full album is coming out here soon. But we'll talk about that more in a minute. This is The Loyal Order, and the song is Ready for Dead. Ready for Dead from the Loyal Order. That's off their self-titled debut album. It should be out sometime in July. And better yet, I don't know if it's better than their album coming out, but better for us here is that we've got Brandon Cook,
Right.
guitarist, coming up on this podcast here in the next couple weeks. We actually talked to him this past week, and it was a really cool one because we kind of talked about a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting that one out. But yeah, Ready for Dead, that's a great song. Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing what the rest of this album's got in store for us and what they've got coming up. Brandon Cook's also in Black and Blue. So look up the Loyal Order and follow them on Facebook.
Yeah, they're an EMP thing, so
That's right.
that's pretty legit.
Yeah,
Dave Elson's not fucking around.
that's right.
You know, Tom Hazard, all that kind of stuff, that kind of vibe. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, one of the cool things I've seen about EMP is that they've brought in some artists like they had Ron Keel for a bit, some classic artists. But
Mark Slaughter.
For the most part, it seems like they're focusing on new bands.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because
That is.
a lot of labels like that tend to focus on bands that have been around just to try to, obviously, to try to push
Right.
and, make a name. But that's kind of cool that EMP is like pushing a lot of these, newer bands. So, but yeah, we'll talk about all that and EMP when we talk to Brandon here coming up.
Of course.
But yeah, in the meantime, we've got our live streams on Facebook. We won't have one this week, but we will be back next week. But yeah, if you've missed any of them, they're right there on Facebook. Every week we're talking about new music in these episodes and a ton of other crap, whatever people bring up in the comments. So check those out if you haven't. We've got a YouTube channel as well with some stuff. We did a review of Havoc recently, so look that up as well. But here in the meantime, we've got Healing the Fray back on the podcast. This is actually the first time, quote unquote, Healing the Fray's been on the podcast.
Yes. We've had them on before, but now that they have their name,
Yeah.
I don't know the best way to explain it. It's the first time having Healing the Fray on.
Right? Yeah, going way back, Mike Araiza was, I believe, episode 12.
Yeah, one of the very first ones.
Yeah. So he was back in the extreme early days of this 5 years ago. And then we had Mike with Jeff on probably about a year after that. So it's a year or two. So it's been a while since we've had him on here. So very glad to have him back. But the reason being is their debut full-length album just came out in May.
Yeah.
And it's a great one.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I think I've said something like this before. It's like what radio rock should be.
That's right.
Like with the turn it should have took. This stuff is just, come on.
Yeah.
You've heard us go on and on about it.
Yeah, it's just great hard rock with the melodic edge. And, these guys, from my opinion, don't really do wrong. Everything we've heard from them with the two of them. And then, of course, the album they did with Frank Hannon in 2012, Six String Soldiers, that Jeff sings and Mike Araiza plays guitar on as well, is fantastic. They went on tour with Frank Hannon for that album, and I was lucky enough to be able to see that tour. Got to see them live at that point. I would love to see them back whenever, when shows are happening again.
Right.
If they can get out there, I'd love the chance to get to see these guys live, playing this stuff. Because this album is fantastic. But yeah, let's just jump into it now. Here's Mike Araiza and Jeff Sandoval of Healing the Fray.
You can bitch and moan all you want, but we're on the same boat. It don't matter if you're not in a don't hold a office of power. You're stuck behind a desk or stuck in your home, dude.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Absolutely.
You can bitch and moan about it, but there's not much we can do. So just keep on keeping on and doing what we do, right?
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
And guys like you and people like us will continue to push forward and make things happen, man, and turn people on. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, man. You guys been good? Family good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's going pretty good over here, I think.
Yeah, where are you all out of anyway?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, holy shit. What part?
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law lived up in Tulsa. He was taking that Spartan stuff up there, that flying school. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was up there for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I went to go visit him. Gosh, this is a while back. Stevie Ray Vaughan was still alive. This was. And he was playing on some type of floating thing out there. I don't know what the river or the lake was.
The floating stage, they called it, the River Parks Amphitheater.
That's probably it. He was out there, dude, and Stevie Ray Vaughan was playing there. I was like, holy shit, man, this is cool. Yeah. They had all kinds of cool people out there, man.
Yeah.
We used to go to, a lot of shows there, but they shut that thing down probably like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, after Stevie Ray burned it down, I think that was it.
Right.
Hard act to follow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was pretty epic. I tell you what, people out there in Oklahoma are pretty kick-ass, dude, especially Tulsa, man. A lot of cool gyms, a lot of just the vibe out there was really cool. Yeah. Everybody was just decent to each other, which was right on, man. I appreciate about that. That's the thing I really enjoyed about Tulsa. Yeah, man.
It's, I guess, a lot of people just look at Oklahoma as I don't know, for lack of a better term, a red state, if you want to call it, but Tulsa just always has seemed way more diverse to me, and, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're all God's children. That's the way I look at it. We're all black, white, purple, green, whatever you are, man. Look at you two, man. Couple rock and rollers, freaking wearing a Michael Schenker shirt.
Yeah.
Where's the Fray shirt, man? What's up?
I need to get one.
We'll put it on Homer in the back there.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I see how you're pimping your shirts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had that set up for our weekly live streams, and then I just forget to remove it when we're doing this kind of stuff, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
I mean, man. So what's new? What are you hearing that's cool?
Trying to think of newer stuff I've been listening to.
I've been listening to a lot of heavy stuff. New Body Count's cool. The New Testament's great.
Yeah.
God, there's something I'm blanking out. New Joe Satriani's really good.
Yeah?
So, yeah, that's what I've been listening to.
So, Testament, huh?
Yeah. Want to get heavy, there you go.
So, let me ask you this and be honest. What do you think of their version of Nobody's Fault? Aerosmith.
I always liked it.
Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Do you dig it?
From way back. What?
Yeah, dude, this was a while back, man.
Really?
Yeah, man, just the comparison between those two guys and just hearing Aerosmith's version compared to theirs. I was like, ain't nothing like Aerosmith, man.
I don't know that I've heard that.
You got to go back, dude. It's there. Check it out.
I'll have to look that up now.
Was it New Order, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, check out New Order, man.
Yeah.
But, man, there was something so greasy about when Aerosmith came out with Rocks, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think they're at their peak of songwriting at that point when it came to, man, they were just so deep in it, man. There was no structure around their songs. It was just kind of greasy, and everybody was just throwing layers on top of things. And there was one thing there was about it, man. They solidified that freaking swagger and that,
Yeah.
That it's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Back, man, if you haven't listened to Rocks in a while, dust the LP, put it on the turntable, and make sure you turn it up, man. And you'll be like, holy shit, why am I not listening to this more?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Sorry about that.
So, Araiza had to make us,
Cheers, man.
coffee
I just got some water.
Yeah.
Okay. All bands out there are just trying to figure out what to do next, how to survive right now during this crazy time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of been every interview we've done over the last month and a half has kind of started with that, at least,
Yeah, man. I mean, all Mike and I can do is just try to stay true to who we are, and just do it with our whole energy and our whole heart and into it, man. And if you dig, cool. If you don't, that's the way it is, man. Yeah, let's see their full faces instead of half of them both.
Nah, that's all right. I got a face for radio.
Look, I see you right there in your full glass. I didn't know you wore glasses. I only saw like one eye.
Yeah. Where are you?
It's all good, dude. All right, what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, I guess just kind of kick it off with the coronavirus stuff. Like, how have you guys been handling that on a personal level outside of the music?
Well, I've had some dear friends that have been exposed to it. One guy he was touch and go for about 12 days. We thought he wasn't going to make it. He had the spiritual battle within him. He was really fighting for his life. And you know what, man? He came through, and it's a true blessing. Scary shit, because you don't know who it's going to hit. One day he was shooting pictures with me, showing me his swimming pool, asking me what certain lyrics were about from our new record. And then that night he's in the hospital on a freaking incubator. It was the craziest thing. It just hit him that quick from like the morning talking to him, 1 a.m. he was in the hospital on an incubator. Wow. Yeah, man. We're just really grateful that he pulled through, and it is what it is, man. I mean, we're just grateful that we're seeing more people healing from it and coming out stronger from it, and just grateful that it really hasn't hit us directly tragically. So I know it's impacted lots of folks out there and families, and we feel for them and we pray for them every day. And who knew that this shit was going to happen in 2020,
no
man?
Doubt, man. No doubt.
Because Mikey and I had big plans for 2020. It's not over yet. But
Right?
How about you guys, man? You guys good?
Yeah, doing good. I mean, this week's our 5th year anniversary of doing the podcast, so
nice.
Just rolling along.
You're not going to hear anything from Mike while he's enjoying his espresso, so you guys might as well add it up a little bit more, man.
Actually, my cousin did pass away on Thursday from complications to it. I mean, but I can't stress enough it was complications. It wasn't just because of the flu virus. She had some other health issues. My other cousin worked in healthcare and unintentionally brought it home, from what they understand.
Wow.
But hey, I mean,
yeah, man.
I don't want to diminish anybody else. It's just kind of. I actually had the flu. I just finished my quarantine. To be clear, it wasn't COVID, but it was the flu. And asked Jeff. It was pretty fucking scary when you get, the chills and you feel hot and your teeth are chattering and you got body aches.
Getting the call from Araiza I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? No.
Yeah. To be clear, no, it was not COVID. It was flu, right? But very fortunate. Went to isolation for 7 days, and then I can't do any type of physical activity. So I've been going freaking crazy. I could get back to like my running and stuff like that tomorrow.
He's good now, so that's why we're so close.
Right? Yeah. No symptoms and all that stuff. But it was totally cool. I saw the doctor through my iPhone.
And the cure for this, man, is green chili, man.
Yeah.
Green chili. Ha!
Right. Yeah.
Green chili from New Mexico. What about any virus anywhere?
But honestly, man, I mean, we're songwriters, we're artists, we're musicians. We don't have an opinion on all this because there's plenty of people that, if someone wants to know how to write a great song, or if someone wants to know how to, to craft a video or how to put a project together, we're experts in that.
Sure.
We can't speak to anything else. All we can do is just do what we do and hopefully provide people an outlet to escape all those things through our music and our art form.
Yeah, man. We're all held hostage to this thing, man. Everyone. It's a trip. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, and sorry to hear about your cousin.
Yeah, thanks. The reality is, for everybody, if you're not okay, we're not okay. And that's our MO.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
What'd you put on the bottom of that, dude? Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good. Well, getting into the music and all this kind of stuff, I know that this question can be kind of cliche sometimes, but what prompted the name change? Because you guys were just going by your last names, and now it's Healing the Fray. And talk about how that came about.
Well, we were working with a few people, man. Jason Rulo is a good friend of ours from Symphony X. And Jason jumped in this project for a bit just to kind of see what was going on, this, that, and the other. Unfortunately, things kind of didn't work out with him. Of course, Symphony X got back together, and they're doing great things. So he was
as always, yeah.
Yeah, as always, man. We're going to say, dude, go do what you need to do.
Yeah.
We're not going to be like, what do you mean, bro?
Yeah.
Right? That's not what we're about. But he was like, you know what, man? Jeff Sandoval and Mike Araiza are cool, but, you should think of a name, bro. Something that defines you guys.
Yeah, Jason Rulo is a great brother. Obviously, his musicianship is second to none, and we mean that honestly.
Choice.
His
amazing player.
Participation in society is second to none. He's a world-class dude.
Yeah.
He lives here in Albuquerque, New Mexico with us, and we spend a lot of time with him. The one thing about Jason specifically is his knowledge and wisdom of the music business and being an established brand with Symphony X. And his feedback to us is like, guys, your guys' names, I understand that, like, for building individual brands, if you guys want to go off to whatever you do individually, but you need a collective brand.
Yeah, he says, you guys aren't country, are you? And I'm like, no. What the hell is going on with the names?
The name mixture.
You guys got to come up with
an established brand.
Yeah, what is your music about?
Right.
And we were all sitting around Starbucks because we can't sit anywhere without coffee because of Mike. We have to have coffee all the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, this song that you guys have, this Hill song, what do you guys see what it is? Because Mike came up with this riff. He worked with Clint and, for inspiration. And I was just like, man, this is kind of cool, this riff. So what I was thinking of, all this negativity going on, no matter where you go on social, news, whatever, there was nothing but negativity. And I was like, man, I'm so done with this. So my escape was always music. And I saw a video of these world artists singing Brown Eyed Girl together. People from Kenya, Jamaica, whatever. It's a great video. It has like 10 million views, right? So I was talking to my father-in-law about it. He's the one that turned me on to it. And he's like, you know what? There's something special about music. And I know. And I turned to him and I'm like, music heals, bro. Music heals. And then I was like, wow, man, our world is frayed right now with all this negativity. So why don't we, think about calling this Healing the Fray? I was thinking to myself. So I presented that to Mike and he's like, I don't know, bro. Too many words, bro. I don't feel it, man. So,
we kicked it around for a while. We talked to marketing specialists and they have their thing like, well, we're not interested in being Google or a car company.
Yeah.
We understand. We learned a lot from that though about branding guidelines and stuff like that, which I don't think the music industry does enough of.
Right.
So we got some great input from people like that. And we let it kind of like
fester.
Yeah, fester for a long time. We talked to other established artists about it and got their feedback. And we looked at brands that have been around for a long time. What are the newer bands doing? What is brand recognition anymore for artists? And kept going. And we concluded on Healing the Fray. And then we hired a very, very talented local artist from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Fred Franco, to design that brand. And when he delivered it, we knew he had made the right decision. And that's the logo that you see on the album.
Yeah. Yeah, because you think of 30 Second from Mars or all these bands with multiple names. It's just not one name anymore. And as Mike was saying, we did talk to people. Even Frank Cannon was like, bro, Hailing the Fray's too long, man. Why don't you call yourself the Healers or the Caramelos or something cool like that? And I was like, well, single names are kind of like more for the 80s. So we're not an 80s band. We're today. So that was the whole pushback we took. And we said, you know what, we're going to jump in on this with, full force, wholehearted, and hopefully people kind of get it. So that's the reason why the name changed, man.
I know, like, Will Hunt had played drums on some of your previous work, and like, who's the personnel on this album, like playing drums and bass, and who rounded out this thing?
This is the group right here, bro.
Yeah. Mike did everything.
Producer right here is Chris Collier.
Chris Collier, as with all of our music since Extreme Soldiers, perform the drums and bass and produce.
Will Hunt was a guest feature that we had on one song, and it was so cool to work with. Oh, 2 songs, right? Yeah, that's right. And just truly amazing artist. But, Will has his things to do. Evanescence. It's either Hailing the Fray or Evanescence.
Yes. But if you look how fortunate we are, right? I mean, working with Jason Rulo, one of the world's most prestigious drummers, Will Hunt as well. And, Chris Collier as a multi-instrumentalist and a drummer, guitar player, bass player, singer, producer, engineer. In all honesty, in the studio, I would have nobody other than Chris Collier.
It's pretty awesome
performing those songs.
And I think that speaks to a lot about the songwriting and what we're doing to have such epic artists that want to jump in, like a Will Hunt, like a Jason Rulo, like even a Frank Cannon that want to be part of it. I think we're, very blessed to have that type of, camaraderie with these other musicians. So it's pretty awesome.
It seems a little backwards to some when they look at how our camp works. Mm-hmm. I mean, this room that we're in right here, this is where all of it originates. This is my home studio.
Casa de Araiza studio.
Yes. It all originates right here. It begins here, and it goes back and forth, and we create the pre-production stuff, and then we used to go to California. We went to California for this album, and when we arrived, Collier has his own take on it, and so we get something that's a song, and then next thing you know, I'm sitting in a studio in front of a console, and Collier's playing drums, and he's moving all these parts around, and then that's done, and then we go back to his home studio, and we're recutting the guitars to a song that's been, cultivated to something a lot more expressive than we ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
And we just don't see a reason to change that because we love the outcome.
Yeah.
On the studio performance and the songwriting perspective.
Do you kind of let Chris have free reign? Are you comfortable with him doing whatever he wants as far as changing some stuff?
He's the third member of...
Dude, it's like working with Spielberg, right? And you go, wait, bro. Sorry, man. This thing ain't going to make it. My Collier is Spielberg when it comes to freaking producers. He's that good.
And no matter how hard we work individually or collectively, and how hard I prepare, I'm still nervous on that plane flight up there. Like, I lose sleep the week leading up to go to post-production with Collier because he's so great.
But all he does is sleep between takes. That's all he does. Like, Mike, he's asleep, bro. Sorry. So that's how it goes, man.
Collier brings the best out of everybody, and that's why everybody loves to work with him in a productive way.
Well, think who he's worked with, man. Look at his resume. It's just
Korn.
All from Korn to Coverdale. I mean, it's just really, man. This guy's pretty. And here's Sandoval and Araiza, man. I think that's kind of cool that we fit in there someplace.
Yeah.
Well, now that you guys have been doing this a while, you two together. How do you feel the sounds developed over the years?
It's always gotten better. We always like to surprise ourselves and surprise listeners with all the content that we create in all aspects. And it's like, world class. It has to be world class. Now, we mean that in a humble way, right? It's kind of like, when you make something to deliver to somebody, it's got to be your very best. And with that comes the evolution of production.
Yeah.
You know, Collier evolves. He's 100% in charge of my sound. He's 100% in charge of what the album's going to sound like. And as he evolves, we evolve with him. We give him the freedom to do so. So we don't have any like hang-ups or requirements or any type of, you know, that crossed arm, oh, this is my sound. That doesn't exist with what we do. Let's just make it great with the tools and resources that we have. And as technology grows, it's going to always get better. And I think that's great.
Because one thing we learned working with Frank Hannon was music should be simple. I mean, if you have to continue to try and rewrite, then there's a problem.
Right.
Everything should be organic. Everything should come out, man. It should be studio magic, and everything should happen right then and there. But if you're going back and you're struggling, then it's probably not the right part. And that's something that we did learn from Frank Hannon. And if you go back to Six String Soldiers, there's a certain vibe about it. There's a certain classic rock sound to it, which we really wanted to make a classic rock type of sound for that record. Bringing in those artists, this, that, and the other. But Mike and I thought that was cool, but we're not classic rock artists. We never thought of ourselves as classic rock artists. We thought of ourselves as alternative rock, mainstream rock. Granted, I'm not a hard rock vocalist by all means, but you know, Mikey has some killer ass riffs, you know, that has that bottom that just makes you go, yeah, right? And you know, I just try to put some melody over it to make those girls go, yeah, you know. So that's the whole thing, man. That's what we're trying to do. So, yeah. Good question, bro.
Well, without being able to do live shows at the moment, like, how do you guys plan to push this new music in the coming months?
We're relying on you to push it for us, bro.
All right. All right.
Man, get it out there. Do what you got to do there, man.
Well, you know, we're very self-sufficient with all of that. You know, we just released recently the No Heroes video.
Did you guys check it out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we shot that here in my home studio.
Araiza Studios. Yeah.
And we're going to continue to do content like that. Just multimedia has been our forte since before multimedia was popular with music. I mean, we started doing multimedia in 2005, 2006, and we've been growing with it ever since and evolving with that as well.
Yeah.
You know, we're very fortunate with that. You know, I was working with Collier on his live stream, and I was watching all the assets that he has for, got a notification here, you know, in Pro Tools, all those assets, right, I have in my my toolbox of working with After Effects and Cinema 4D and Adobe Premiere. So we feel very confident in our ability to deliver content in a video manner that's going to be entertaining and enlightening and world-class. So we're going to continue to do that indefinitely.
Plus, we're listening to what the fans want, too. And a lot of them want us to do specific things as well. So we're working on that as well. So it should be kind of fun. They're like, can you guys do this? Can you guys do that?
Right.
And we're like, sure, man. I don't think there's nothing that we really can't throw ourselves in 100% to have a pretty good outcome. And it's up to you guys to determine whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down, whether it's kick-ass or it sucks. I mean, that's where you guys come in.
Right.
For any brand, I think it's, you know, do you have that element of surprise? Do you have that Steve Jobs, one more thing in you, right? And the only way that you can do that is to cultivate and can have a commitment of hard work to keep throwing things at the wall.
I'm going to move this cursor off of his, and I'm going to put it on Bart.
On Homer, that's what right.
Oh, yeah, it's not Bart.
Yeah.
It's him. Sorry, man. Hey, sorry.
Since we were planning on doing a series of live shows, honestly,
Yeah,
we were ready.
Yeah.
We're disappointed it didn't come through, but that's okay. We're going to adapt. And being adaptive is okay. So we'll move on to the online content stuff.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to we are adamant of having that Apple, there's one more thing moment. We're going to continue to what we feel lead the way to surprise people. And we're in the works of a lot of things right now that are going to be very cool.
Right now, a lot of artists are trying to figure it out too. They're out there playing their guitar, and I'm seeing hundreds and hundreds of guys and gals playing their guitar and trying to figure things out. But Mike and I are taking more of a methodical approach and trying to make something a little more polished for people to really sit back and go, man, that was really cool. That's something that I want to share with my family and friends. So that's one thing we really take pride in.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. And we've talked about that. It's like a lot of the country and roots guys, I mean, they can just pick up their guitar and turn on their computer and there they are, and they can do it. But, you know, for a lot of these rock guys and metal guys and, you know, hard rock, whatever, I like, you know, that you're taking more of a methodical thing to it and to try to, I don't know, it can't all be just dudes with acoustic guitars. If we're going to have like a year of no shows and everyone's in a stream, we got to figure out some cool way to do something.
Yeah, man. Well, we could do that too. We can pick it up right now.
Yeah.
When I'm down and feeling low. We could do that too, but, you know, you guys are like,
right, but
oh, that's kind of cool, but
yeah, it comes back to those branding guidelines. I mean,
man.
Those are the things that we learned from the people that we gave ear to for advice. Like, if you're going to build a brand, you know, have a guideline of excellence. Oh,
yeah, man, that's Monte right there.
I'm not like an NFL guy, but
he's a Broncos fan, so
Oh,
I'll let you two duke it out.
for you, man.
Bunch of stuff over here I could pull.
Here, I got a lighter, bro. Hey, I'll ship it to you. You can burn it.
my family's from Colorado, so I mean, I don't really have a thing.
Hey, man, every person has a flaw. Now I know what yours is. Denver, I love Denver, but the Broncos, come on.
But there are brands that are so specific with their logo that they will count the pixels between the end of the screen to where their logo is, and you know, they will approve it based off of that. They have, if you're going to work with them or not, right? So we're talking Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
Killing the Fray, because Mike knows how many pixels there are between there.
Right. So we're not saying anybody else has to follow suit with this, and we're not judging anybody else. I enjoy seeing everybody putting content out. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But for us, we're just going to be a lot more reserved about how and when we do this and what is it going to look like. That's all. And that's just our thing. I
think it's really cool that people are just embracing a way to express themselves too.
Right.
And the thing that I like, that I really appreciate it, is that these artists are building a community around themselves and just really making themselves vulnerable. Because there's nothing more vulnerable than a guitar and a mic in front of you and going, ring. Okay, there's nothing around me, so I'm going to just do what I do and get criticized by most and hopefully liked by a few. And I think that's cool as well.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say about what we've seen as of late with, the government closing things down and COVID-19, however you want to itemize it, is you can, from famous people specifically, or people that have had long careers in the music business, if they're getting on their computers or their iPhones and they're doing this, well, it's definitely not for the money.
Right.
It's for the love of being an artist and the love of expression. And I think if there's something that all of us should definitely celebrate with artists jumping on their live stream, regardless of the platform and regardless of what genre of music they're in, take notice and acknowledge that it's for the love of the craft of art and expression. Right. We should encourage that for sure.
I'm really digging what Sammy Hagar's doing. Are you guys watching that?
Yeah.
I still haven't watched any of those.
I've watched all of them. They're great.
God damn.
He's like,
I got to do that.
Down the shower, check this out.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, Sammy, we just love you for who you are, because he's all about the music. He's all about the love for it. And he doesn't give a shit about what anybody thinks, as long as he turns on a few people. And I freaking think that rules, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've always appreciated his attitude.
Yeah, man. We need more people like that are up instead of, well, man, I don't know. It's kind of a bummer, man. Screw that shit, man. We're artists. We're musicians. we're the people that people turn to in times like this, man. When you're locked in your house and you're kind of going, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to listen to a cool record, man, right? When was the last time you did that? Dust off the LP and put it on the turntable and just turn it up. I think that's what it's all about, man.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, you mentioned a little bit ago you guys are ready to go with live shows. I doubt Chris Collier is available all the time when you guys want to play, so do you guys already have band members in mind to play live shows, or how's that going to work?
We do. We've got it's an interesting way that we've had to approach this. So
Right.
there's a lot of logistics that end up in play, right? So when you're going to take someone out on the show, you have to give them, there's some financial things that have to happen up front, right? Retainers, stuff like that, agreements for pay. And then we as a business have to figure out travel expenses. There's a lot that happens into that, right? And there's obviously the people we want to work with, and then it comes down to their availability. And then it came down to where we're from. We're from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We love, I live very close to the Sandia Mountains. I love to go run in the foothills up there. All of the songs were written and arranged, in running the streets and the roads and the foothills and the mountain trails of Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we were like, how do we share that with everybody else? So we wanted to focus on musicians if we could find them here. We were able to find and recruit 2 of them.
Yeah.
Mike Solma on drums.
Yeah, and Matt Padilla, bass.
Yeah.
And plus we have a couple other people out in other states as well, because for some reason, today is what it is. Not everybody can be free to travel United States. So we have to pick other guys and gals that can do it too. And we have Manny in California that's a hell of a bass player too that's willing to jump on.
Right. Recommended from Collier.
Yeah. And Collier said, bro, if you need me, man,
yeah,
I'll be there for you guys, man. Just like that,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's cool, man.
We have to think about regions and stuff
Sure.
like that. And this is pre-COVID-19.
Yeah.
We were looking, okay, so we got the Southwest United States, we got the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. I was even going to hit up Troy Luquera when we were out there in Nashville. Troy,
Right.
you said, bro.
Right. So now with the change of things, we don't,
Yeah.
nobody knows what's going. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We're hearing. It depends on who you talk to. I was on the phone with, someone that we worked with before that has nothing, and I won't name the booking agency or anything like that, but it was pretty concerning. But
I think everybody's in the same boat, dude.
the thing is rock and roll never goes away. It just takes a break. It comes back for the next set.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're taking a 15-minute break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
yeah, man. So
Yeah, man.
sometimes when something, it's kind of, I look at it like right now the industry is kind of like that house that needs to be remodeled, and you go and you break in that wall. You're like, oh, this was worse than I thought. And you just keep ripping stuff out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe, you know what? The positive approach of this is maybe it's something we all needed
Yeah.
to establish a new industry, to put, to the people want it. I'm not saying I know what the architecture is going to look like or the schematics going to look like. What we're saying is we're able to adapt, and we will adapt, and we're not going to quit being artists, and we're not going to stop performing. We're not going to start writing music and making records and making digital streams and digital content. It's changed. And we're all in this together. We're going to figure it out.
I think people are going to peel away from their computers and actually go see more live shows.
Once it's available.
That's what I'm feeling.
Mhm.
right.
Nobody likes to be kept inside, man.
Right.
Hell, man.
Hey,
Everybody's going a little strict.
My thing is going to be like, you know what? You guys had X amount of months to stare at your fucking phone. Put it down.
Right.
Put it down.
Yeah.
when it comes time for a show. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So when your friends invite you to their show, you're gonna go, interested, going, or no?
Yeah.
You guys gonna pick.
Right, yeah.
Make sure, man, go support people. Go support those guys and gals, man, because that's what they do. They do it because they love it, man. So tip your hat to them.
Right on. Interested. That always means no.
Right.
Yeah. I got more interested. I have 500 interested and nobody on no.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, thanks, Mom, for going. Appreciate it.
Speaking of making albums, I mean, we want to use this as an opportunity to thank everybody that did the pre-order for our CD. It went more than we really thought it would.
Yeah, man. We're seeing some serious streaming going on throughout, and it kind of took us by surprise, but we're hoping that more people just continue to help spread the word, because it is Jeff Sandoval, Mike Araiza, Healing the Fray. It's always been about us. We've been the brand for over 10 years now, and we try and do the best we can and put out some quality music for you guys.
Yeah, and this is an important time for fans of music to continue to support the artists that they love. If they release a single or an album, believe it or not, those numbers matter when it comes time to book a show. Right? That first 2 weeks. When an artist puts an album available for pre-order, that's to kind of get this momentum and to kind of pop the cork and let it, cascade out and get the numbers that they're looking for. Even though they're not looking for those numbers this year, it's still going to matter. So if you have an artist that you love and support, you really want to see them do a show, if you want them to have a snowball of a chance to do a show, buy their music any chance you can. Either be through iTunes, Amazon. If you subscribe to Tidal or something like that, subscribe to your favorite artist.
Yeah, man.
Through Spotify or on YouTube, because believe it or not, that carries a lot of weight for that artist as time goes on, for them to present themselves as something worthy of being booked. I can't stress that enough. That's extremely important.
Yeah, we need some help, especially in Oklahoma. I don't know what's going on there.
We're spreading the word, that's for sure.
And we have two of our biggest bros out there, man, especially in that Tulsa area. Yeah, there's some good people out there.
Yeah, we like to think so.
Hell yeah. But, and that's the thing, you're right. The YouTube numbers, the streaming numbers, that's what we have instead of album sales now. So,
right,
which is fine.
Yeah. And we all have to evolve with it. Times are changing. Who knows what the next thing's going to be?
Right.
You never. So we're cool. We do this not because we have to. It's because we want to, and it's because of people like you that really appreciate what we do. Keeps us going, man. You're the reason why we do it.
Speaking of something the opposite of streaming is vinyl, and you've mentioned vinyl a few times, and I know seeing Mike's Instagram and Facebook, you're heavy into it. Is that something you're into as well, Jeff?
Oh yeah, man. Except I have, kids and, and I have brothers. I used to have an epic album collection that my older brother continued. Hey man, let me check this record out. Cool. And then before I knew it, it kind of began to dwindle more and more. So I'm waiting for my kids to leave the home so I can rebuild my. But there's nothing more intimate than the sound of an LP. I mean, you put it on, you hear the crackle initially, and then the room fills with sounds. It's the mechanics that make the magic. We have no idea how those guys and gals press that record, because it could be from the east, south, northwest, but they all sound different, right? You can get something from one press company and another, but they sound completely different. So there's something very unique and special about that LP that I think a lot of people miss in the digital world. But I do appreciate the digital world because, man, it freaking
fast, convenient.
It's like, man, it sounds killer. But right. All I can say is that we're very fortunate to have been able to experience these changes through our lifetime. Yeah. Because we saw LPs, records,
cassettes.
Then cassettes. You're like, whoa, man. And then the old, let's fix the cassette with the pencil type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then, Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen in 85 with the first CD. We're like, holy smoke, we got to live this, man. Or even before that, when they were doing the high definition LPs, remember that when the really heavy weight of LPs came out, they're mastered. You could only play them in a certain area.
Yeah.
I've had ADAT and all this stuff, but I think we've been very fortunate to see that evolution come and to have experienced it all and kind of be able to pick and choose why it's so special. I mean, Mike and I are huge fans of Motown, and you turn on Sam Cooke, right? And you hear, Cupid, drop back your bow. And you're like, man, that sounds so freaking cool. How come?
Well,
and it's just so cool.
And the organic process that those guys did for those records back then. I don't know if there's a whole lot of artists that are contemporary that could walk into, an old studio like what they recorded back in right there and cut a 45, because we're so used to just getting these computer perfect performances. It's about what you see blended with what you hear with a lot of producers. That's why we love Collier so much, because he's a good hybrid of everything. It's going to sound great, and it's going to meet all of the technical specs that we hold ourselves to right now with modern day production. But those, you hear the stories of the albums that were cut in the 50s and 60s, and even in the 70s where they didn't have as much bouncing tricks as they do now. Interesting enough, you go listen to Sam Cooke, right? And it sounds so vibrant and fresh and open and melodic. They were invested to writing the song first and then recording it later. So
it was about writing a song, not producing a track. Now it's all about building the track, which I think is really unique now how songwriting has evolved. I mean, a guy could go in with an idea like right? And then the producer goes, all right, let me build something around that. And they're starting to evolve around that idea. Instead of Mike and I, we have these seeds of, verse, chorus, bridge, or middle eight is what I like to call it. And then we try to evolve from there. But I think it'd be pretty cool to work with somebody that says, all right, Mike, give me a riff. And he's like, man, oh, man, oh, man. And he's like, all right, so I'm going to put that down. Now, what do you guys want to do around that? I think that would be kind of cool to do that as well. So I don't want to put ourselves to anything, because you never know what's going to evolve. Because initially, when we did approach Collier, we were working with Collier long distance. And then when we had the opportunity to work with him in the same room, The Good Fight was written. And that song showed us that, wow, man, we have actually a cool sound.
Right.
A vibe that we just wanted to kind of bridge off of. So that was kind of like the beginning of everything.
Yeah, that was the first song that really brought the three of us truly together, like organically in one room versus sending stuff over the internet. And then, that's when we knew that we had our core of what we were going to do, leading up to where we are now as songwriters. And
because it's so cool watching him. I'm a student, and I like to watch about everything, and just seeing him. Hey, Mike, take your pinky and move it up. One, take it. I mean, just so intricate and so detailed, just to find that perfect chord. And once Mike gets it, you're like, wow, that was epic, man. Do that again. Or how about, hey, Jeff, give me another. Do you have a higher range? Can you take it up 2 more steps? Can you go? I'm like, holy shit, bro. What do you want me to do? I'm like, but it's so cool to have somebody like that push you and see what you're capable of doing and bringing it out of you. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, Chris Collier has a very unique skill where he understands each instrument that's being performed at a high level.
Yeah, he makes you want to quit.
Whatever instrument is being performed, whether it's vocals, drums, bass, or guitar, or any other instrument, he understands it fully, how to communicate it in its native language, and how to elaborate on it and to get you out of your comfort zone, to add edge, and these hidden dynamics are all over the album. kind of like what Bob Rock did with the Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever went back and watched the making of that, and you listen, there's a thing I watch on YouTube where like Lars and James Hetfield are sitting in front of the keyboard and they're listening back and they're pulling all these hidden tracks. So like, I didn't even know that's there. That's what Collier does with our music. You don't know what's there because he highlights the main riff and the vocal melody in the chorus, but all these other things are added in to make it sound huge. But the craft of this is we can still pull it off live without all those elements being there.
Yeah. Hey, can you guys sing?
No.
We're going to need some backup singers.
Okay, I mean, I'll give it a shot if you want me to.
Fit the bill. What do you think?
Yeah. There you go.
You got to be like,
I could play the tambourine or something,
nice. That's what we need,
on
man.
Mercy and, break down. Well, man, we appreciate you guys taking the time with us today. It's glad to have you back. It's been way too long, so
right.
I'm looking forward to the full album coming out.
May 15th.
Yep,
yeah,
this
15th,
week.
Make sure you kind of...
Yeah, help us spread the word. We'd
word,
appreciate
man.
it. Like I said, those numbers, they really matter, and they'll,
Yeah.
they mean a lot to us. I mean, we appreciate everybody. We're excited for it to come. We were not planning to do this digitally. We were going to follow the physical timeline. We were going to release singles digitally with what's happened with everybody voluntarily staying home, with each state doing their own thing, whatever, right? And with everybody's our number one priority is everybody being healthy, safe, and managing their finances the best they can.
Yeah, man, we didn't want to push it when people are trying to figure, should I eat, pay my mortgage, or buy Healing the Fray's record?
Right.
Buy Healing the Fray's record anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to be about the amount as the Starbucks coffee.
Right. Well, we worked with our management and we decided, hey, let's put this available on streaming.
Yeah, man.
And let's get it out there. But since everybody is home and hopefully, while they're doing their workout, we wanted it available on devices.
Yeah.
And
tell us what you think, man.
Yeah.
Shoot us any or visit our website or whatever you want to do, man, and just communicate with us what you feel and what you think.
Yeah.
We just love your feedback.
Yeah.
We respond to every message that is sent to us, and it's coming from us, not some third party, but it's from us.
Yeah.
As long as I'm capable of handling this, I will continue to respond to you myself, and Mike will as well.
Right.
There you go, Mike Araiza and Jeff Sandoval of Healing the Fray. A huge thank you to them for taking the time out there to talk to us. That was really cool. Sat down with both of them there on Skype. Very happy to have them back on. Like I said up front, you need to check out their debut album that came out in May. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If this is your first time listening and you're a fan of Mike and Jeff and you hadn't checked out the previous times they're on here, get back on our previous stuff and check them out. Like I said, Mike was on here way back, episode 12. And then both of them were on here a little bit later. And then, like I mentioned, they part of Frank Hannon's band. Frank Hannon's been on this podcast twice as well. We've had on guys from, we've had on Mark Slaughter, Gene Simmons of Kiss, Bruce Kulick, Mark Kendall of Great White, Dizzy Reed of Guns N' Roses. Then a lot more of bands in that vein. And we've also had on some heavy stuff like Seven Dust and Dave Elfson from Megadeth. Shooter Jennings has been on here. All kinds of great stuff. That dog's been on here more than once.
That dog, that goddamn dog, fuck that dog. But we've had dudes from Crowbar on, COC, I Hate God. I mean, we cover all that shit.
Yeah.
Prong, Battlecross, fuck, man.
Sons of Texas.
Yeah, Sons of Texas. Shit. I was about to say a couple others, but I don't know that they're ones that we've even released yet, so I'm going to shut my fucking mouth.
Well, let's mention those then.
Yeah, mention them. Go ahead.
Yeah, coming up later this week, we've got another episode coming, and it'll have Joel Grind from Toxic Holocaust.
Right.
If you love your thrash, you'll love Toxic Holocaust. And then we've also got, like we mentioned earlier, Brandon Cook from the Loyal Order and Black and Blue will be coming up sometime soon. Then we've got V from the Violent Idols. And we also just recently recorded one with PJ Farley of Trickster and Raw.
Right.
That is very cool. That's the second member of Trickster we've had on here, because we had on Mark Gus Scott way back.
Yep.
And then we've had on other members of the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour.
Right.
Members of Warrant and Firehouse. So definitely check out all these past episodes. You can listen to everything on SoundCloud.com/Thunderdash Underground. You can listen on iTunes, Google Music, and most places that podcasts are heard. TheThunderUnderground.com is our website. You can even listen there. You can read reviews. You can find all our socials there. So get on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Follow, subscribe, like, share, tweet, comment. Any of that stuff is free for you to do, and it helps us out greatly. Yeah, and I guess that's it, right?
Yeah, and again, fuck that dog.
That's right. Like I said, coming up later this week, Toxic Holocaust to be on this podcast. If you missed last week, we had Jim Wilson from Motor Sister on here. Week before that, we had Ron Kill from Kill on here.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. We've had on Patrick Muzingo from Junkyard recently, so just dig back through these recent episodes and check them out. And we hope to see you soon. Once again, thanks to Mike and Jeff from Healing the Fray. Thanks to Med Farm, DB Concerts, and Sunset Tattoo. And until next time.
Good. Hey, give me a sec. I got to make an espresso real quick. Sorry.
No problem.
Thunder Underground, y'all.